So hey, what's going on, you guys? Running a creative business is one of the most rewarding and challenging things that I've ever done. Every year comes with new heights, new setbacks, and even new lessons that shape how I work, how I grow, and how I serve my clients. Today, I want to share with you the biggest lessons that I've learned this year, as well as also lessons that I think could save you some time, money, and even a lot of stress. So let's get into it. First is price with confidence. So the first lesson is stop negotiating against yourself. Earlier in my career, I'd hear a little hesitation from a client about pricing and immediate discounts. But here, what I've learned definitely is you gotta have some confidence, and confidence sells. When you stand firm in your rates and communicate the value behind them, the right clients step up, and the wrong clients, well, they move on, and that's okay. Every time I've held my ground this year, it's not only brought in better clients, but it's also made me more respected, and that's what's most important. Number two, I would say, is systems. Systems save sanity. The second lesson I would say is you gotta build your system. If you wanna run a business, not just hustle job to job, you need workflows, proposals, invoices, contracts, delivery timelines. Systems that keep you consistent and keep your clients confident, whether it's automating a follow-up email or having a gallery ready in 48 hours. Systems reduce, of course, that stress, and they make, I would think, my business a lot more scalable. Number three would be marketing never stops. And this is an area that I think I struggle in often because when I think about marketing, marketing is that thing that it's the gasoline in the engine that drives your business. It's often overlooked, definitely when you think about people are typically landing on E if they're driving a gas car, or if you're driving an electric car, you realize that you have a lot further to go than you charge for. And so when I think about marketing, you have to always realize that it's never stopping. And so one thing that I did this year was I bought action cameras. I bought a few action cameras, and I put them up behind the scenes on a few areas because I don't always want to hire someone, and I may not always want to use my phone and pull it out, but you put a camera up and you hit record and you let that thing roll, and it gives you some great content to use later. And so when I think about marketing and understanding that marketing is never stopping, this year taught me that when you're booked, it's tempting to be, to put out the outreach, right? It's tempting to just keep going with the flow, but momentum in marketing is everything. You gotta keep posting, you gotta keep networking, you gotta keep reaching out, because the projects you booked today often came from seeds you planned or even planted, of course, 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago. And if you only market when things are slow, you're going to always be behind. And so I think what's critical about marketing every single day, marketing with purpose, is recognizing that there's going to be the client that sees you today, but they may not use you until tomorrow. Balance is key. That's lesson number 4. Balance in this space is extremely important. When you think about this space and when you're thinking about the balance side of it, you have to often think about how you're managing it all. And so for me, having a family, having responsibilities, I've had to realize what's necessary and what's not. So creative businesses, they're going to drain you. There's no question about it. I saw a meme the other day. He said, "How do you do it?" I don't. I'm often tired. That's the truth. That's the reality. But for me, it meant learning to say no to projects that didn't align with my long-term vision, and also carving out family time even more, and protecting my mental health, meaning working out, taking quiet walks. And I realized that if I'm burnt out, I can't serve my clients at the level that they deserve. So balance isn't optional, it's essential. That's definitely the 4th lesson that I've learned this year. Number 5, I would say, is relationships. Relationships and transactions. They're much bigger if you build the relationship versus just looking for transactional interactions with people. One of my biggest takeaways this year is that the relationships that I planted and that I started and that I created months ago, years ago, is what's been paying off in great dividends this year. Relationships matter more than just those transactions because clients don't want a service, they want a partner that they can trust. I tell you guys this often, when you're thinking about your business, definitely as a photographer or videographer, you are an affiliate arm to that client. Whether it's checking in after the event or sending a small thank you or just being reliable and relatable, those touch points turn a one-time gig into a long-term client. Repeat business comes from me typically because I've built that trust, not just taking orders. And that's extremely important. I think if I had to give some bonus things or some bonus takeaways for this year, I think the biggest one would be adaptability always wins. I can't count really how many times this year an event changed last minute or when a client said, can we do this and can we do that? And being able to adapt matters. Schedule shift, lighting wasn't always what we expected or the room wasn't what we wanted. Budgets may have got cut and that hurts, but instead of panicking, what I've learned to do is pivot. The creatives who survive aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who can adjust on the fly and still deliver an excellent product. And that's what separates, I think, sometimes me from others. And I think that's what separates some of you guys from each other as well, is knowing those who can make decisions on the fly. And I think that one thing that's important as a photographer, as a videographer, is you must understand how to make decisions. If you're always waiting for someone else to make that decision, then it may be best that you become a second shooter or a person that is a great helper, because that means that you may not be a good decision maker, and that's okay. I don't think that this business always needs business owners. It just needs talented people that can create a great product. When you think about most movie productions, any movie production, you'll realize it took a team. And that team means that other people may have sacrificed creating a business and said, I will want to be the best help that I could ever be. And that's one area that I think has been extremely important to me, is really asking myself, am I a better help or am I a better business? And if I'm good at being a business owner, then that must mean I also must be good at giving great direction. And that's what creates, I would say, the biggest difference. And I think that's what also lengthens your stride amongst other companies. Now, this is the last bonus that I think I can really tell you, and that is invest back into yourself. Final lesson that I would say is investing in yourself. For example, gear upgrades, courses, mentors, conferences. Every investment I've made in myself this year has paid off one way or another. Sometimes it's more efficient workflows. Sometimes it was new knowledge. I took some time and went to some conferences this year. Sometimes it was just confidence. But if you want clients to keep paying you more, you have to keep leveling yourself up. And that means putting in the work outside of just clicking the button, outside of just editing the same thing. You gotta keep expanding your knowledge. So for me, the recap of this is simple. Build your system, market consistently, protect your balance, value the relationships, and then maybe staying adaptable. Everything else is, of course, investing in yourself. And each of these lessons, I will say, have changed the way that I approach my work and my life as a creative entrepreneur. So I hope this helped. I know this is a little bit different, but I'd love to hear from you. What's one lesson you've learned in your creative journey this year? Whether it is cutting back on your spending or whether that is learning how to budget wisely. Drop it in the comments. Your story might help someone else out here. And if you found this video helpful, hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications, because we're going to be cranking these out a lot more. We're building a community that's going to be designed to help photographers, videographers scale their businesses in the right direction and stop making the mistakes that all of us have made years in advance. So I'm here to help you. I hope you're excited to learn, and I hope you're even more excited to keep growing. Let's get into it. Peace.